Ayo, welcome into CHGO Bets Daily, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app today and use promo code CHGO when you sign up. Welcome into Studio B of our CHGO offices here in the West Loop of Chicago. I'm Sean Anderson, the host of the CHGO White Sox podcast. That's my full-time job. I actually have, that's Cody Delmendo. You can follow him on Twitter at Cody_CHGO. And we are here to give you our best bets for today. We have college basketball plays. We have bets for the Bulls Wizards. And maybe we might even sprinkle a little bit into Saturday and Sunday and even Monday NFL playoff talk. Cody, how you doing?
I'm good, Sean. I went 3-2 yesterday. I'm feeling pretty good going into today. I would have went 4-1 if Oklahoma State didn't shit their pants in the last minute last night, but, I'm not mad about it.
Wait, what happened? I didn't watch.
Well, they played Kansas State, and
right, and Kansas State went to the line like 40 times.
Yeah,
or something.
Well, and they had it within 1 point, and then the Kansas State extended to 3. Oklahoma State failed to score, and again, this isn't like the last minute or so, and I just remember the Kansas State throwing a lob and there being a foul on the lob that was converted, and just Oklahoma State's defense or offense stinks. Like I might start betting Oklahoma State unders the rest of the year. Like the games I've watched Oklahoma State play, man. Like they played Texas over the weekend. It was the most disgusting 40 minutes of basketball I've ever watched. That's not true, but it ranks up there. But yeah. But otherwise okay. I live bet Michigan State plus 4.5 last night. They ended up winning by 4. Against Wisconsin. I had the under in Toledo and Kent State, which was a bold play because Toledo was 12-1 on the over this year, but it went well under last night. So I felt really smart. Shout out to the MAC.
Hey, and shout out to Connor Smith too, who said in June 2022, he said Commanders season win total 7.5. Take the over. 8-1, baby.
I remember
to the Commanders.
I remember him talking about this.
Yeah.
Shout out to Connor.
There's always been one Commanders fan here, and he must be that guy.
He must be.
So I believe you,
it
Connor.
Is. Connor's our resident White Sox fan and Commanders fan. But hey, that's why when you see those boosts, Kansas and Wisconsin boosted to plus 186, both to win on the money line. There's a reason why, because that Kansas game was tight and that Wisconsin game was tight too. I felt like Wisconsin was going to win that game. I've said that they're going to be the Big Ten winners, and the Big Ten staying just dramatic as always. I have no idea who's going to win the Big Ten.
I didn't place a pregame bet on that game because I just didn't know if Tyler Wall was going to play, and then he didn't play, and I was like, well, they're still at home. Chucky Hepburn's been pretty good for them. But yeah, I got home last night and turned it on and happened to catch the last 10 minutes. And, Michigan State they just kind of hung around. And when I saw the live spread at 4.5, I was like, this is going to come down to one possession. I'll take it. I got it like minus 135 too. It wasn't even like great odds. So, it's just nice to win one sometimes.
It is nice to win one. I am kind of cold, or not cold. I didn't bet last night. I did take my $10 limit, and I put a future on Georgia to win the title in 2023, 2024. Because
don't blame you.
We didn't really bet that one right. You had the same game parlay that hit, so maybe I shouldn't say that. And I also had Stetson over 1.5 rushing touchdowns. But really wanted to hit that win margin 19-24, and apparently, I sold the Bulldogs way too short on this one.
Yeah, I mean, anyone who took that alternate line of 17.5, I think that was the highest that DraftKings had it at. Like, anyone who just did that, and then used the profit boost that DraftKings was giving away, whoo, they're rolling in a lot of dough today, man. I just put it on Georgia minus 13, used the boost, got it at plus 180, and,
Sean, to your credit, you actually said take the biggest point spread in favor of Georgia that you could.
Yeah, and it was plus 17.5.
Yeah,
I mean, that wasn't even enough.
That
it wasn't enough for me. That's why I went to 19-24. But you're right. I mean, that was only at I think plus 180, and then even with the 50% boost or whatever you got, it was up to plus 212. And I was like, that wasn't enough.
Good, and that was as high as you could go.
Right.
I don't know, man. I love watching college football, and I love that the college football playoff is a thing. But I am excited to see when the expanded teams come in. That way there isn't as much controversy regarding who's getting in, because the way TCU played in that game, it was laughable. Like, it really did look like IMG was out there playing like my high school football team or some shit like that. Like, it was bad. Like it almost ruined anything, or like any of the storyline about TCU's like Cinderella year. Like, I thought they'd at least, lose by 20, you know what I mean? And they lost by 50, something like that. You know what I mean?
It was such a blow. I was so looking forward to that game. I actually fell asleep during the game, which is crazy because Sean, we talked about it. I was really looking forward to that game.
Seriously.
It was like early second quarter, already a blowout. And next thing I know, I'm waking up and it's halftime. Like, oh, geez.
Yeah, I mean, that
score was, geez.
The 19 to 24 point margin to win for the entire game wouldn't even hit for the first half. Yeah. It was 38-7 at the half. Ridiculous.
I actually bet the first quarter spread for Georgia, which was only 3 points. It was 3.5 points on the first quarter spread. That hit easily. And then I took it in second quarter at 6.5. And it hit easily. And then I thought about doing it for the third and even the – well, after I didn't in the third, I didn't in the fourth because I didn't – like, Georgia started taking all their players out. I didn't know if they're going to even score any points. And then they probably would have covered it then too. I don't know what the fourth quarter spread was. But that was the first time in college football at least where I've live bet, like, quarter spreads. Like, that's just how bad TCU looked. It was like, I don't think they're going to score any points. I mean, Georgia hit the over themselves. The total was 63. They scored 65. Like, what?
Yeah. So, I mean, like, literally, I was all on the under. I thought they were just going to be able to shut down TCU, and they did. But they also just, kept doubling their points.
Yeah. Kirby Smart went out there and was like, they sent a message. Now, I will say that his whole, like, thing about the narrative of, like, no one believing in them, I think that he was just saying that for the sake of, like, the players and stuff like that. But, like, I don't think anyone out there thought that they weren't at least a college football playoff contender. I don't know about anyone doubting them on being anything. They dominated all season. I mean, they dominated Tennessee whenever Tennessee was, like, in the top 5. I can't think of other games that they played. Like, Ohio State gave them the best run for their money all season. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, Ohio State honestly should have won. So I don't know. Whatever Kirby Smart was doing in that with that the narrative pushing, then whatever was going to make you feel good, man. But
it worked.
It definitely worked.
Those 7-5 Georgia Bulldogs, undefeated, and their biggest win margin was 4 against Missouri, where they didn't even really try. Let's just quickly take a break here, let you know about DraftKings Sportsbook, and then we will get into our big plays for tonight. We got college basketball and we got NBA action, and the best way to support us is by downloading the DraftKings Sportsbook app and betting on the NFL playoff picture. It's locked in, and my go-to place for wild card round action is DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. To kick off the road to the Super Bowl 57, new customers can bet just $5 and get $200 in free bets instantly. Plus, all new and existing customers can get a no-sweat bet each day of the wild card round this weekend. I saw the promo for Saturday. I didn't know it was a no sweat bet for every single game. So, folks, there's usually up to about $10 back. So you're probably going to need to have at least $30 in your sports bet account this weekend, because you're going to have to be placing a no sweat bet each and every day. So just place any NFL bet of your choice, and if it loses, you'll get a free bet back up to $10. Action so good, why bet NFL playoffs anywhere else? Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code CHGO. New customers can bet just $5 in the NFL and get $150 or get $200 in free bets instantly, only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code CHGO. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Cody, I did have a little bit of I listened in, I guess, to your and Steven's conversation, and Steven brought up you guys have to have a rivalry bet here because on Sunday, 340, we're talking about the wild card here. The Giants, plus 140 favorites on the money line. The Vikings at home, minus 165. Who's on which side here? Because there's a fight.
I'm riding the Giants here because I think the Vikings are a bunch of frauds. And I'm not the only one who thinks they're a bunch of frauds. Daniel Jones as a road underdog, he's hit the Giants are covering at an 80% rate with him as a road underdog. So if you don't feel good about the money line, I recommend +3. You get the field goal there. I think the game will definitely be close. If the Vikings blow them out at home, then I think that will surprise a lot of people, to be honest with you. Or I guess win by 10 plus points. I think the Giants hang around in this one because they got a good defense. Their coach is very good, and they got a good running game, and that's something that the Vikings defense is not good at. Really, the Vikings defense isn't good at defending much of anything.
Yeah, anything really. Yeah. Nosebleed football teams.
Now I know the Giants don't have a lot of weapons when it comes to being receivers, but I do think what's his name Hodgins.
I'm looking at
Hodgins.
Hodges.
Yeah, he's Hodges. Thank you. He's emerged a little bit.
Hodgins.
He's Hodgins, right?
Yes.
Hodgins.
He has emerged over the last few weeks. He helped me win the CHGO Fantasy Football League. Shout out to him. And I don't know. Like, I think the Giants are a little bit of a dark horse. I don't think they're going to go all the way and win the Super Bowl or anything, but I think they can win a game in this postseason, which is, I mean, honestly, just making the playoffs is a big deal for them coming into this year. To win a game would be a big deal. Now, again, at the Vikings, they got a dome. You're going to have really good, the Vikings are going to have everything that they need there, right? But I don't know, man. That game against the Packers was so telling about who they are as a football team in reality. They beat the Bears. The Bears were trying to lose that game, and Justin Fields didn't even play. You know what I mean? I think, sure, the Vikings might have a chip on their shoulder to prove to people that they're for real. But I also feel the Giants are in the same position, man. And they played in the toughest division in football this year. I think you can argue that.
An argument can be made there. I can't disagree with anything you said. These two teams did play earlier in the season. Hodgins did have a good game. 8 catches, 89 yards, and a touchdown.
Our guy.
Yeah.
Your guy.
We now got to take Hodgins anytime touchdown scorer now because of this.
I'm taking the Vikings, though. I mean, they just have better playmakers. For me, the Giants are really a one-man show. It's Saquon Barkley. You shut him down, and I don't see any way you don't beat the Giants. Kirk Cousins has a really good game against the Giants. I don't think the Giants' defense outside of Kayvon Thibodeau is really that scary to me. The Giants haven't really been there before either. Kirk Cousins hasn't been successful in the playoffs, but at least he's got some.
He's got a playoff win on.
Experience.
He's got a playoff win on his resume. Kirk is only bad at games at 7 p.m. This game's at like 3 o'clock.
We did talk about this yesterday, too.
However, the game against the Packers was like a 3 p.m. national televised game. As far as like if you watch CBS, it was I think when they played the Packers, I think everyone could have watched it unless your team was playing in your market. You know what I mean?
So Cody, you and I each put $10 on each of our respective teams' money lines here.
Yes.
I'm going to take the team that has Justin Jefferson, TJ Hockenson, Dalvin Cook, and even Kirk Cousins hasn't been bad.
See, I'll take the team that doesn't have Kirk Cousins. That's really what I'm just betting on.
So
that's right.
That just has Daniel Jones, though.
Yeah, but that's fine because really Daniel Jones has what it takes to win a playoff game, and that's he can run around. I mean, he can cause havoc. I mean, as long as it's a 1-point game, they can just tie it up and win this game. I just think when you see what happened last game in a dome, it came down to a 61-yard field goal. Greg Joseph misses that. The Giants are going the other way. And we've seen this probably for the past 3 years. Just the underdogs have been so good in these spots in the NFL just because it is very much 50-50 whatever team is going to win. So I'm looking at 3 teams, Giants, one of them this week. I like the Giants on the money line, I like the Bucks on the money line, and I like the Jags on the money line. I'll probably put that together in some sort of round robin thing. Put $20 down, and I think they said that all of those hit. That'd be like 132. But I'm not sure what variation of it. But I think those 3 teams I like the most when it comes to dogs.
Yeah, I mean the Jags are very enticing, but I like the Chargers out of the 3 that you said. So. But I do think the Bucks have a really good shot. And I do think the Giants can at least cover the 3 because I just really think this game's going to be close. And to me, like if this is a shot on Kirk Cousins or not, I don't think either him or Daniel Jones are too far apart because and when you look at the stats, of course Kirk Cousins is far and away better than Daniel Jones. But with the way that the Giants run their offense, the way that Dable puts Daniel Jones in the best way to succeed, there's a reason that Saquon has been a big reason why they've been successful this year. But Daniel Jones isn't the reason that they're losing games either. You know what I mean? Like, he's been a very solid quarterback for his standards this year. And so, like, with their defense and with their running game ability and the fact that the Vikings defense sucks, I think they can hang around, at least cover the 3. I'll go a step further and say that they'll win outright in Minnesota. And then prove to everyone that they are a bunch of frauds.
There you go. I think the Vikings are frauds. So that's really the only reason why I'm going against just Steven here is just because Jefferson's good.
I think they're both frauds.
Even Dalvin Cook is like fumbling in Week 18 against the Bears. Like, I mean, I don't know about these guys. I don't trust the Vikings. Let's get into some hoops action. We got NBA action. We got college hoops action. Cody, I want to save the NBA mainly because I just want to make sure DraftKings has all the props up for the Wizards because I don't really know what to take tonight. I was waiting to put together some sort of same-game parlay, but the Wizards props weren't up, so I wasn't really getting the full betting experience there. So we'll delay it a little bit because it is a no-sweat Wednesday. You can get a bonus bet if your bet loses up to $10 today on DraftKings Sportsbook when it comes to the NBA. So make sure you're opting in. But let's get into some college hoops action. I know you have 10. I'm going to get into my first ones first here, Cody. We're going to go to the let's go to Teaser Town first. I think the parlay I think the parlay party's a little bit too early here. We're going with a 4-point teaser here, Cody.
Okay.
Penn State is going up against Indiana. Indiana had a clown show recently. Yeah. This 4-point teaser takes Penn State -2 up to +2. Rhode Island hosting St. Bonaventure. The Bonnies have been a great home team. The issue with this game, it's in Rhode Island, boosting that up from -2 to +2. Charleston versus UNC Wilmington. Ooh. That one's at +3, boosted that up to +7. I do think UNC Wilmington at least will be able to control the pace, and I don't think Charleston will be able to blow them out. Under 146.5 in Duke-Pittsburgh. No Roach for Duke tonight, so I just don't think that they're going to be as efficient as they'd like to be. Alabama-Arkansas. I think Alabama can win this one, so you're going to give me 5 points. Let's go. And same with Memphis-UCF. UCF kind of boosted up by a 30-point win against SMU, but SMU didn't have their best player. I do think that Memphis in this spot, even though it is at UCF, they can win, but at least cover by 5. So that is my teaser town for today at +650, 250 to win 1875.
Obviously I love the Duke and Pittsburgh one in there. That's one of my plays, and I'm just taking the regular under 142. Penn State +2. I would have honestly just put that teaser or put it on Indiana because Indiana is the underdog, right? I think Penn State would win, but I don't know if they'd blow Indiana out. So, but I get where you're coming from here, I guess, from a sense. So that's the only things I would have changed is just put the teaser on Indiana to at plus. I guess it would have pushed it to +5, +6, something like that, because there were 2 points. But yeah, and Alabama-Arkansas is going to be the game of the night probably. So hopefully, it's a close one. That way you don't have to worry about the 5.
Yeah, hopefully we don't have to. It'd be nice if they just, all of these teams won outright. I mean, outside of the Duke Pitt under, which, that's not really winning outright. Let's go to, why don't you give me 5 of your first Big Ten? All right. Why don't we take this piece by piece?
Let's go to, we were just talking about Pittsburgh and Duke. I'm going to take Pittsburgh +8.5. That's my DraftKings pick of the week on the Cubs, CHGO Cubs podcast today. I just don't understand why they're 8.5-point underdogs. They beat Virginia. They beat UNC. They're in third place in the ACC conference standings. Duke beat Boston College by 1 point the other day. Boston College. Like, I don't understand it. Like, I just feel like this is way too many points. This is the sole reason that I'm taking this. I think it's like I said, my DraftKings pick of the week on the CHGO Cubs podcast. My pick of the day for this show. Pittsburgh's been a surprise in college basketball. They got a lot of transfers that have come in and they've gelled well together. That said, staying with this game, I'm taking the under 142. Duke is more of a defensive minded team. They're not putting up a ton of points. I mean, they beat Boston College 65-64. I mean, Boston College, are you kidding? Boston College is awful. And we've seen them in other games too, where they're in the 50s and 60s. I just think 142 is a little high here for this. And Pittsburgh's a good defensive team too. I think this will be more defensive minded.
Duke just isn't good too.
I think
I just think they suck.
I still think that there's time for them to get it together. I mean, they have a top 3 recruiting class this year. I know that's kind of like a yearly thing for them because they are a blue blood, but I don't know. I still think that they can. I don't want to say they can be this year's UNC, like that was an 8 seed and then, went all the way to the national championship. But I do think as the season goes along, they'll get better. But right now, I think this is a great spot for Pittsburgh because they're coming off beating Virginia outright they were a 6-point dog against Virginia. Now you're giving me 8 points against Duke, a Duke team that's been, honestly, like to this point, they've been very inconsistent. Like, I don't know how anyone could lay 8.5 on Duke tonight. So I'm taking the 8.5 with Pittsburgh. I'm going to take the under with Pittsburgh and Duke. Marquette plus 2.5. I'm also taking Marquette money line. Shaka Smart as an underdog is hitting at 60% rate. I was reading online today. Going up against UConn in Milwaukee. Honestly, like the tickets are so cheap. If I, had someone to go with, I honestly wouldn't mind going to this game because it's going to be a very, very good game, UConn and Marquette.
How are they not selling it out? I mean, UConn's a top 5 program.
I know.
Marquette's been great.
It's going to be a good game. And I went and watched Marquette in Illinois at the Pfizer Forum where the Bucks play last year. It's a great place. I don't know if the game's going to be there, but anyway, I'm taking Marquette plus 2.5 for that reason. I also, Marquette's a really good team. They're the home team. You're giving me the home underdog. So I'll take that. TCU plus 6.5 at Texas. Texas has played better ever since after they gave up 116 points against Kansas State. They beat Oklahoma State. But TCU is also playing very well over the last few weeks. I think 6.5 is too much, so I'll take TCU. And then Georgia money line plus 135. This is kind of like just a toss-up. They're going up against Mississippi State tonight as a home dog. They're 2.5-point dogs. I'll take them on the money line. They did beat Auburn at home. They're undefeated at home. They just beat Auburn last Wednesday, a week ago. So I'll take the team that hasn't lost a game at home and surprisingly has been a little bit of a surprise in the SEC. Like, obviously, Georgia is a football school. Their basketball program, comparatively to last year, is much better this year than it was last year. They were awful last year. They've been another surprise team in the SEC. I'll take the Bulldogs.
It's because they got rid of Tom Crean. They purged all that IU basketball out there and got Mike White. No, not that Mike White of the New York Jets, and no, not that Mike White of School of Rock. The Mike White, the head coach of the Georgia Bulldogs. Let's take you to the parlay party. I almost added Marquette onto this one, and I didn't end up doing it. We're going 3 teams here, getting the boost. Previously this parlay was around like plus 36, 36 to 1. Now we're at 45 to 1. Missouri money line. You talked about Missouri, 4.5-point favorites. I just think they're the better team than Texas A&M. Yeah. TCU money line. Texas, I'm not really sure on them. Their last 3 Big 12 games, 1-point win against Oklahoma, blown out by Kansas State, and even Oklahoma State. Pretty bad basketball program, and they only won by 10.
It was a disgusting game, man.
I just think that the coach is there. I think TCU can get up. TCU probably wants to get a little bit of revenge for their football team. Want to probably show out there. So I do like TCU, and then Pittsburgh money line. I don't believe in Duke. So I think all 3 of these teams can win tonight. So why not have a party? $250 to win 116. So obviously we'll be having a huge party if that hits. But that's
TCU coming off a home loss against number 14 Iowa State. TCU is ranked number 17 in the country, by the way, too, if no one knew.
They've been in 2 bloodbaths because it's not only the Iowa State game, but then also the Baylor game that they won by 1.
That Baylor game was insane. They were trailing in the final minute, and they hit a 3 with seconds to go, and they beat Baylor outright at Baylor, too. They beat Texas Tech. Texas Tech they have all kinds of problems right now. I'm surprised because they're such a good basketball program. But, yeah, their last 3 games, they've looked very good. You're giving us 6.5 points. I don't blame you for taking the money line just because Texas, of late at least, haven't looked like the Texas team that played Illinois a month ago. So, this is a big game for for TCU tonight at Texas. But Texas defense is pretty good too. So I expect it to be close. That's all you're asking when you're asking for 6.5. Money line, yeah, you never know. Things can happen.
Right.
Big 12. going off what you said Missouri money line. I'm taking Missouri plus 4.5 tonight as well against Texas A&M because I just think Texas A&M sucks. They are not good. Like I've bet against them again with facing off against mid-major schools in the non-conference schedule. I don't understand why Texas A&M's a 4.5 point favorite at home. That is the only thing that can tell me. I know Missouri, they beat Illinois, they beat Kentucky, which right now the Kentucky win's not really looking that great. Kentucky looks, I think I might be done betting Kentucky the rest of the year. I did take South Carolina plus 20 yesterday against Kentucky, and South Carolina ended up winning outright as plus 1,100 underdogs on the money line. Like, I wish I had just done that. But yeah, I'm going to take Missouri plus 4.5 against Texas A&M tonight. Also, another one, Xavier minus 2.5. You're all good. Xavier minus 2.5 against Creighton. Xavier has played very well. They beat UConn last week. I believe they are still undefeated in conference play. They're right there at the top of the Big East standings. At home.
Yeah, 5-0.
Yeah,
5-0, Providence 6-0.
Right. They're 5-0.
Both on 9-game win streaks.
Yeah. Again, Xavier minus 2.5 at home. I'll take it. I think that's a great line to get it at. Alabama, Arkansas under 154. It opened at 149 and moved all the way up to 154. I saw it come down to 153.5 a few hours ago. But surprise, I understand Alabama they're a fast paced team. They love to shoot the three. But they're both top, I don't know if it's KenPom ratings or Action Network ratings, whatever. They're both very good defensive teams too. And I think 154 is a lot of points. Now, I can see this going over if, goes to overtime or something like that. But 154 is a high total for two teams that are this good defensively. Nick Smith still isn't back for Arkansas, and I think he's really the big difference maker for them in terms of being anything special in March. Miller for Alabama is very good, though. And again, they like to shoot the three a lot. Nate Oates is fast-paced. So I think Alabama wins this game. And if they do, I don't know. To me, Alabama is either going to blow them out or if it's close, Arkansas could win this game. But I just think it's going to be a very defensive-minded game.
Yeah, so. No, I like that play of 154. It's a high total to be going after. So right. I do like that play. I think, too, with Nate Oates and Eric Musselman, this one might be a grinder of a game. But, yeah, that's going to do it here. We do have NBA talk, Wizards and Bulls as well. Sorry, I totally blanked on that. We do have the Bulls. If you are feeling like the Bulls might win this one, you can get them 4+ money at plus 100 on the money line. Spreads plus 1.5, over under 229, and they only have the Bulls props up. So Caruso,
is it down to plus 100 finally?
Vucevic, Williams, Lavine. Yeah, money line is at plus 100. So you got any leans here, Cody?
Well, the only reason I kind of don't want to bet the spread or the Bulls to win is because DeRozan isn't going to play tonight. Mm-hmm. So I did come up with the classic Bulls same game parlay. I tweeted it out already, but I'll give it here. Vucevic over 21.5 points because with DeRozan out, someone's got to score outside of Zach Lavine. Mm-hmm. And I believe he's averaging 24 points a game against the Wizards this year, so I like that. And then Vucevic over 12.5 rebounds. I made a typo in the Slack channel. Sorry, Steven. It says 112 on YouTube. It's just 12.5. We do not need 113 rebounds.
It'd be an impressive game.
It would be an impressive
game. And you would have called it.
Yeah. Then Patrick Williams, 2+ threes. Dude's shooting like 40% from three this year. I think he's definitely going to get more shots up tonight with DeRozan out as well. So I like that. And I like Williams 1+ steal. He's one of the Bulls' best defenders. I think with DeRozan out, he's going to be a lot more aggressive. And if he can get going on the offensive end early, that's only going to help him on defense because he's going to be confident. And, so it comes out to plus 1,100. It'll boost it up to plus like 3,500 if you do Williams 2+ steals. But I think that's at like plus.
It's dangerous.
That's dangerous. It's at like plus 425 for him to get 2+ steals.
He's played 2 games against the Wizards, 1 block and one block plus steal in those 2 games. So, I mean, he doesn't even have a block. I think, or he only has a block, no
I
steals.
just like the way
it's a tough
Williams is
team.
playing right now. Williams has been very active defensively. He had 3 steals in his last game against the Celtics.
Yeah. Past 10 games, 11 points per game, shooting 45 from the field, 40% from 3, and then also averaging a steal per game as well.
Yeah, so I like anything that has to do with Vucevic or Patrick Williams. I'm also just singly taking Zach Lavine 30-plus points at plus 100. I think you can, if you want to get real juicy, I think at 40-plus points, it's like that plus 450 or something like that on DraftKings. It could happen. I mean, he's going to get the majority of the shots tonight for the Bulls. If they're in the game, like he's going to be the one shooting the ball. But 30-plus points at plus 100, fine. I'll dabble.
A couple things concern me in this one. Bulls 1-1 against the Wizards this season. The home team has won each of those games. This game's at Washington. DeMar DeRozan, leading scorer for the Bulls in both of those games, won over 30 in the first one. He had 27 in the second. Somebody's got to score, though. Maybe it is Patrick Williams. Someone's got to pick up that scoring load. That's why I don't mind your Zach Lavine bet. Sounds pretty good right now.
I don't know. I just want to stay away though. Like if I'm betting on Zach Lavine, like that's why I think I might just take the Wizards.
Somebody's got to shoot the ball though.
I know, but that doesn't mean he's going to make his shots. So I don't know, like that. It's a difficult game just because like if it was a better team, I'd honestly feel more. Like I feel better about the Bulls, but I just don't because they don't show up against teams like this.
Yeah, that's true. I will say this though, against the Celtics, the Bulls really could have folded in that fourth quarter, and they came all the way back and almost won. The only reason they didn't win was because Zach Lavine missed a shot in crunch time, but he went from 12 points and going into the fourth quarter and ended with 27. So the guy can get hot. The guy can get hot, especially from 3. I don't mind a good Zach Lavine 2 or 3 plus 3-pointers because he's going to jack them up, man. He takes a lot of them. That's a good bet, in my opinion, as well, if you don't want to bet on the game in terms of like who's going to win or not. But I do think that Zach Lavine props, they can be very valuable tonight because I mean, he showed when DeRozan went out last night that he can be very aggressive. That he knows he needs to be aggressive, and he's going to do that tonight. I think they're definitely going to get Vooch involved early as in this one too. Again, someone's got to score. Someone's got to score in this game, and the Bulls love to give up points as well. So maybe take the over.
We will see how it all plays out. 6:10 is when it starts. We'll have a Bulls pregame at 5:30 with Big Dave, Matt Peck, and Will the Goat Gottlieb. Make sure you follow Cody on Twitter at Cody_CHGO. That's where you could follow all of his reaction to his massive betting night. Let's hopefully let Cody get back to $100 in that bank. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. That's going to do it for the CHGO Bets Daily Show. We'll be back with you at 3 p.m. Thank you to Stephen Nicholas for producing the show. And we'll talk to you tomorrow when we are millionaires.